Warning, some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everyone, Neonstar here, and happy Halloween! With the arrival of All Hallows Eve, it's the perfect time for some spooky tales. I was first introduced to creepypastas around the age of 10. I know I said I stopped being scared of them when I was 9 or 10 in my last video, but I double-checked the dates and I must have been introduced in early 2014 when I was 10. So I guess I just grew a thicker skin over that year, because I wasn't scared by the time I got into FNAF. Anyway, my sister was showing me creepy videos, and we ended up watching the top 22 non-gaming creepypastas by Tats Top Videos, which ended up getting taken down and re-uploaded later. That video horrified me, and I had trouble sleeping. Later we ended up watching the two first debunking creepypastas videos by Hoodo Hoodlum's Revenge, because the third one hadn't even come out yet. But I've grown to be very fond of creepypastas. Anyways, I've pushed my luck far enough, time to let Mariah discuss our favorite creepypastas. Jeez, finally. The first creepypasta that really stuck with me was Abandoned by Disney. For those unfamiliar, the gist of the story is a guy exploring an abandoned Disney resort until he comes across a photo-negative Mickey costume. As he turns around, the costume stands up and says, "Do you want to see my head come off?" It claws its head off, revealing thick, yellow blood. The part that really got to me were the final two lines. They didn't want anyone like me getting in. They didn't want anything like that getting out. I felt a deep terror of just the idea of something like that existing. I think I lost most of my fear when I hyperfixated on Five Nights at Treasure Island when it first came out. I've since also read the other stories in the series, and I think Room Zero is my favorite, but I really like the other ones too. My favorite creepypasta when I was around 11 was Cupcakes. You know, the one where Pinkie Pie kidnaps Rainbow Dash and mutilates her. I was obsessed with My Little Pony as a kid, with Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash being my favorites. But as I grew up, I realized that I enjoy fictional gore. Emphasis on fictional. My mother described the movie Flowers of Flesh and Blood to me, which is a very gory movie I wasn't allowed to see, and Cupcakes was the next best thing to me. I don't like it anymore, but it was my favorite at one point. I also never read Rainbow Factory, but I still listen to the song to this day. The song also came before the creepypasta did. My current favorite creepypasta is Godzilla NES. It's one of the staple haunted game creepypastas. I remember reading the whole thing in a single day as a kid, and downloaded all the pixel art on my tablet just to look at it whenever I wanted. Even got my dad to read it last year. People say the ending was bad, but I've always liked it. Another favorite of mine is username 666. Starting off as a video on Nico Nico Doga and later remade for YouTube, it's a creepypasta that still gives me chills when I watch it. It was made by Nana825763, who makes incredible horror videos, like the famous House Walkthrough and Poco Poco Picoton, which hit me particularly hard. They've been making videos since I was 2 years old, and they've really inspired me when it comes to horror. Candle Cove and Psychosis are some other classics that I love. Let's speed through some classic creepypastas. The Rake and Slenderman were pretty similar in my head, being creepypastas I primarily knew through video games. I was never too attached to either of them. I was terrified of Sonic.exe as a kid, but I thought it was a bit silly when I was older. I never enjoyed Jeff the Killer, even as a kid. I love Zolgo, but more people know it for the text. From what I've seen, the text was made with Zolgo in mind, but I could be wrong. The Mario image both unnerves me and fascinates me, and I'm glad the original image was found. I never believed in Smile Dog, but the concept itself is cool. Squidward's— hey, wait a minute. Squidward's death, which I'm saying to avoid YouTube's wrath, made me a little afraid to even see Squidward as a kid. It frustrates me that Red Mist is synonymous with Squidward's death, since from what I've heard, Red Mist was its own video, and Squidward's death was written afterwards. The bootleg SpongeBob image everyone always used for their thumbnails also freaked me out, but I stopped feeling that unsettled a couple years ago. I honestly just find Mouse.avi funny now. Happy he sure is. I never read the Rugrats theory, I just know it from the song. The Russian sleep experiment really got to me as a kid, because I suffered from insomnia frequently, especially during the summer. Also shout out to the Steam Pianist song. The Harbinger experiment isn't as well known, but it made me anxious whenever I heard Livin' in the Sunshine. Gateway of the Mind still gives me chills sometimes. I have spoken with God, and he has abandoned us. So good. It's also funny that this random performance art piece had a monochrome filter slapped on it and was put with the story. feel like no one talks about Mr. Widemouth anymore, but I think it's one of my favorites. Pokemon creepypastas were always some of my favorites, like Lavender Town Syndrome, which also had a banger Vocaloid song. Buried Alive isn't as well known as Lavender Town, but I've always liked the art. Pokemon Black, which came out before the actual game, isn't very creepy to me, but I like it more as just a story. And my sister and I played Lost Silver when we went on our RPG horror game kick. And lastly, Polybius is so enthralling to me. I recommend the video essay by Ahoy if you want to learn more about it. Before we stop, I want to discuss some more obscure creepypastas. One of the first ones I ever heard of was God's Mouth. The idea of a cave that eats you is horrifying, especially as someone who's afraid of caving in general. As a side note, I always heard about Ted the Caver, but I didn't actually hear the story until like a year or two ago. I'm not sure if Mr. Mix is popular or not, but when I saw a playthrough of Victor's Advanced Education, I recognized him immediately, but I don't hear anyone talk about it, and I can't even remember where I first saw it. The Cough is a pretty underrated My Little Pony creepypasta. The first time I heard it, it gave me chills. It's a shame it isn't as well known as some of the other MLP stories. Gregory's Room isn't scary to me, but I love the video and it made me laugh hysterically in middle school. I even shared it with my friend Jeff and made it his contact photo on my phone. These next ones I got from Top 10 Lost Episode Creepypastas, which is full of some obscure stories I enjoy. Sunlit Nightmare made me feel uneasy about napping during the day. The Dawn is Your Enemy is scary enough on its own, but the urban legend that there's an unheard extended version that's way scarier is pretty cool. The actual full version is a hip-hop song though. Lost Episodes, by the same author as Abandoned by Disney, is an explanation for every other Lost Episode creepypasta, and it's one of the best ones. There's been a slight resurgence in creepypastas as of late. It's been around a decade since they were most popular, and I've seen a ton of interest lately in rewriting or remaking some of the classics. I'd love to see a new generation get traumatized on creepypastas like we all have. Since Neonstar has seemingly left the building, I guess I'll do the outro. Thanks for watching, I suppose. If you'd like to see more, the last video was about my childhood fears. Don't open the front door. Bye.